I thought I was going to be stigmatized.
I thought I was going to be stigmatized.
I thought that it was something that would not be accepted.
I've been HIV positive for 26 years. The first time I thought I was going to be stigmatized, but I weren't, was my family. My family was very supportive, very caring. They were just concerned about me living. I have a real funny story. I had told my sister, she was in the bedroom, and I yelled to her, where the paper cups? You know, she came out the room and said, boy, if you don't get a regular plate and a regular cup, I will throw you out. Oh, that made me feel great. That was the start of my journey. That was the start of my fight. My family, they just went and got educated.
I thought I was going to be stigmatized when I joined an organization called Worldwide Dream Builders. It's a Christian-based organization, and a lot of the members had talked about homosexuality, being gay, and how negative it was. It was like an oxymoron. How do you say anyone can join and be mentored, but then be homophobic along the same lines? And when I made the decision to listen to the leaders of the organization say, we are not homophobic, it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. And when they found out that I was a lesbian, the only thing they said to me was, do you want your business to be about, because I was very radical about it, so do you want your business to be about whether or not a gay person can have a business, or do you want to build your business? And my bottom line is, I want to build my business.
As a black woman of trans experience, oftentimes I have been stigmatized, and the one time that I know that it was amazing that I didn't get stigmatized was when I started working at a specific agency, a non-trans woman who was also is her organization. So she liked the work that I was doing, the conversations that I was having around trans issues. So that was one of the very first times where someone who took me seriously, regardless of my educational background, irregardless of the fact that I'm a trans woman. And to this day, she still supports me and invests in a lot of my causes. Historically speaking, most organizations, individuals, entities, anytime they come across trans women, especially of color, they tend to speak to us in condescending tones or treat us like we're a sideshow. So that was one of the first times where, I thought she was going to be the same way, dismissive, and she was not, because unfortunately that is what a lot of trans women deal with, is people treating us as sideshows in spaces. If you feel you're being stigmatized, you don't have to be alone. Today's a new day. So there's various organizations such as NBLCA, NITAC, that you can get involved in to help you if you feel like you've been discriminated because you're stigmatized. For community organizations and businesses, entities, you should want to treat everyone with the same respect that you would want to be treated.
You hear a lot of stigma about whites against blacks, blacks against whites, so already I put my own self in that position, like, well, I'm not going to get this job. All these white people are not going to hire me. Not thinking that, number one, I'm a doctoral candidate. Number two, I have 4 acronyms behind my name. Number 3, I can do the job. Even though I have those credentials, there was a part of me that was saying that because these people are white, they're never going to hire me. But I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong, and it really made me feel good knowing that they hired me not because of what my sexual preference was, how aggressive I looked. I went in there with a professional demeanor. I was able to articulate everything that was being asked of me. good eye contact. You know, I was speaking the language that they wanted to hear. And I actually got the job, and I've been there for 6 years. I go to state psychiatric facilities, and I do clinical assessments. You know, I'm clinical. You know, I work with HIV, AIDS, homeless people, you know, and I find them appropriate housing. That's what I do. I work for the community, you know. So I'm so pleased, you know, that I was able to get over that little issue that I had, because it wasn't their issue, it was my issue. You know, it wasn't their issue, it was my issue. So it was good for me to get that experience, you know. So now, moving forward, so what I do now is, rather than saying, oh, they're not going to do this, I go in there with an open mind.
Going to high school, I definitely felt like, because I was more feminine, that I'd be placed in, like, okay, that's a little gay boy, you know, we're gonna pick on him for like the rest of high school. I did not think high school was gonna be that way. So a lot of the times I pretended to be a straight man, and turns out I didn't have to. Like, people kind of saw through it, but beyond that, I didn't need to, because it was an accepting community. No matter where you go, somebody's going to say something or have a prejudgment against you. But you also understand that no matter where you go, there are people who are going to accept you and love you and know the right things to say. So really just know yourself. Take the time to learn yourself, know whatever predicament you're in, know the history behind it, why you're in that situation. Because once you know all of that, what people think or stigmatize you as, you won't even consider it. It will really just roll off your back just based on the knowledge you have. For the people who do stigmatize others, I would say really reevaluate yourself, your thought process, what you know, how you found out, and really understand what you're saying and how it affects other people. And now understand that it's just not words, it's just not actions. Everything you're doing is having an effect on someone, whether it be bad or whether it be good. It's just, so I would say learn and educate yourself and know more. That would be the best advice.
Well, growing up, I've always been a lesbian. So I thought that it was something that would not be accepted. I know it wasn't accepted for a while by my family, but then once my mother realized that I was still her daughter, regardless of my sexuality and who I slept with, I saw a change in her, where I became accepted not for being a lesbian, but for being pan.
All the above and more.
That's right.
When you're raised on these ideas of forgiveness, compassion, you know, loving everyone, and especially since my grandmother's really religious, and then understanding as you get older that, and you understand the way she stigmatizes HIV and HIV risk, is that she wasn't really thinking of loving and having compassion and thinking of the health of everyone, but just, I guess, a heterosexual HIV negative individual. So to be an advocate for a specific cause, you don't have to necessarily have the attributes of whatever you're fighting for. So, you know, you can advocate for better health and muscular dystrophy, but you don't have to have muscular dystrophy or multiple sclerosis or breast cancer. And so, yeah, I think that was kind of when I was a little nervous about stigma, because it's one thing if a stranger might stigmatize you, but it's another if, you know, your loved one and the person you look up to might stigmatize you because of something that you're advocating for.